I would like to call this meeting to order. We are going to say the pledge, so if you're able, please stand and join us. Thank you. Can we begin with roll call, please?
Scarlett Cantley.
Frank Palin.
Michael Johnson.
Richard Vassalotti.
Elizabeth Accomando.
Patricia Farrell. Meg Weinberger, representative for House District 94.
Rob Robinson. Rogers Hanson. Also have Francis Bethel and Mary Viator on Zoom.
Anita King, Mayor, Town of Loxahatchee Groves.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. I'd like to welcome everyone to our district. I'd like to see a lot of new faces here. The reason why we called this emergency special meeting to order is because, as everyone knows, the CSX Railroad has some major problems and they need to shut it down to do these repairs. And these repairs are critical. And while, yes, it is going to be a major inconvenience to probably about 60 or 70,000 people, the alternative would be much worse. We certainly don't ever want to see a derailment. We don't want to see people get hurt or worse. And so we're here tonight gathered to find solutions and ensure that our residents are protected, their roads are protected, everyone remains as patient and courteous as possible. We are going to be moving approximately 70,000 vehicles through this community on very few roads, and the roads are very narrow. And we all ask, like I said, for everyone to please be patient and be courteous. We don't want to see collisions in this mix. It will be very complicated for first responders. And while we can't stop it, we're here to look for solutions, to do our best to protect our residents and everyone that travels through our amazing community. And so I would like everyone to please be respectful in this meeting. And if you want to speak, we're going to have limited public comment, 2 minutes. So please fill out a comment card. And once we are done discussing and call the motion, we will ask for your input. I do ask that if you come up and say, don't close it, we can't do that when we don't have any control over that. This is CSX and it's way above our pay grade. So any solutions that you think you might have, we appreciate. If you're going to have the same response as your neighbor, you could just say something as simple as what he said or ditto. So we don't have to stay here all night, but we definitely want to hear from everyone. And again, we want to make sure that we do our best for our residents and our first responders. So with that, I will turn it over to the rest of the board if they have any welcoming remarks. Michael? Richard? Patty? No? Would you like to say anything? Okay. All right. Well, then let's get going. So this discussion, that would be it. Yes, please do. Thank you.
I was able to talk to FDOT and they put me in connected with Secretary Braun. So obviously you all know it's really a safety improvement and enhancement. And those vehicles will be allowed, though they are making for the entire time. They're projected to, instead of 8 days, which was original, they're trying to only do 5 days. So let's hope that it's only going to be 5 days. And if there are any other issues, I'm happy to connect with Secretary Braun because this is his district and this is really who oversees this project. But I know that you guys have some other information from county, so it'll be more helpful. So that's from the state agency just about an hour ago.
Thank you very much for that update. I appreciate that very much. All right, Mr. Hanson.
Thank you, Ms. Accomando, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen of the public and those of you on Zoom. So tonight, just to be clear, we've asked, staff requested that we have this special emergency meeting because while we know that we have no control over the closure and it's necessary, we do have to mitigate certain effects to protect our residents and the works of the district. So tonight, what I will be asking for from this board is just basic support so we can do certain MOC functions during that time to make sure that traffic does not unnecessarily travel on certain interior neighborhood roads, which would not be conducive to the entire traffic flow of Coconut, Seminole Pratt, and then on to the State Road Southern Extension, areas like that. And yes.
And I'd like to point out that if you have not already seen the detours are Coconut, Royal Palm, and Seminole Pratt Whitney. And we understand that those roads are going to get backed up. So that is something important to address. But there is something else I'd like to address. There's been a lot of comments and posting on social media saying that it was our intention to close all of our roads. And I just want to point out that that is not the fact. We have no intention of closing all of our roads.
Yes, and I was actually just getting ready.
Sorry.
So thank you.
Sorry.
Good segment. No, that's
Of
a good
course.
segment. So thank you. So what we're looking at is during the morning rush hour, we know that there's 41,000 average daily trips from basically Ibis going east to the B line. So now we're putting all of that onto Coconut and Seminole Pratt. Clearly, it's common sense. So we press. No, that's okay. So basically, common sense will tell you that that when it backs up, when we get stacking on North Lake as well as Coconut, they're going to start going on to certain interior roads. What my concern after speaking with Mr. Robinson and also Mr. Foy, our district engineer, is that we're concerned as they're approaching the intersection, if they're traveling west on North Lake to Seminole Pratt Whitney Road, that will stack there. There's already construction going on the sides of the roads. And then you also have construction on Seminole Pratt. What our concern is they're going to turn left and go south onto either Hall Boulevard, 140th Avenue North, or Great View. And what we want to do is not allow that access off of North Lake onto those three southbound lanes during the height of the morning rush hour. The reason being is that they're not going to go anywhere. They're either going to end up trying to get back onto Seminole Pratt or back onto Coconut, or they're going to try to get onto Orange, which only goes to Seminole Pratt or to Royal Palm, which is the Coconut Avenue. So that's what we were looking at. So we're not looking at closing any other roads or stopping residents from getting in or out or requiring driver's licenses or checking addresses. It was nothing like that. It was just during the height of rush hour. We're also going to staff someone at the barricade. So if PBSO or Palm Beach Fire Rescue would have to get through, we just immediately move it. And then after rush hour or as traffic lightens, then we remove it and traffic flows as it normally does. But this is just, for Monday, and we'll see how it works on Tuesday and Wednesday, and hopefully they'll be done before then. So that's the first thing we're looking at. The other thing we also want to look at is putting up local traffic only signs, similar to what the town of Loxahatchee Groves does, because again, you might save 10 seconds, but you're going to get trapped trying to get back onto Seminole Pratt or back onto the Coconut Boulevard detour. So that's what we're trying to do, is keep people on the main routes, because what we're already going to have problems on these county roads, because especially Coconut, and I know there's some residents here tonight that live on that county road that actually have driveways on the county road, so they can't even come off a side road. So we're going to have a lot of stacking on side roads, and even issues with our residents getting onto the county roads. You know, I know in speaking with Captain Sant with PBSO, they're going to be working with the county engineering department, town of Waxahachie Groves and other surrounding cities, try to move traffic through as quickly and safely as possible. So tonight, again, what we're asking for, and the motion would be to direct staff to protect and ensure the safety, health, welfare of the residents, property, and infrastructure, including but limited to the MOT that we think we may need to do. And anything that we would do would be within our legal authority and would be done in conjunction with engineering, and would be done in a way where we are not going to inconvenience our residents. And that is what this meeting tonight is about. Normally, I can do this administratively, but because this could be for 8 days, I did not feel comfortable. Even for 5 days, that's still longer than what I normally do. So, and do have emergency authority if there's a major road or culvert collapse or something like that. But for something like this, I just want the board to be aware of it, and also want to calm the public down that this is not going to, we're not going to aggravate the situation, but we're certainly going to protect our interior neighborhoods and the residents that live there.
And I think that's important, and I think those residents will appreciate it. And I would like to reiterate something that you said. Our roads, a lot of them don't go through. And what will end up happening is people are going to take these little detours because they don't want to sit in that line of cars. And they're going to end up either at a dead end or they're going to be lost, only to get back to the detour roads. So instead of saving you time, you're actually costing yourself up maybe a half an hour or more in addition to the delay you're already seeing. And you brought up Coconut. I recently spoke to a resident who told me it took 9 minutes, and this was before any closure, just on a normal morning, 9 minutes to get out of this driveway because of the traffic that's already there now. Coconut is seeing a tremendous amount of traffic. So we have to think about those residents too. So again, it comes back to courtesy, right? If you see somebody who's trying to get out of their driveway, stop and let them in. It's gonna take you maybe an extra 30 seconds, but it's just the right thing to do for your neighbors, just to be courteous and allow these people to get out, because everyone has the same goal, to get to the place that they're going safely. So I appreciate that.
Will you mark those roads that don't have, will they be visibly marked so people know that it's not?
Yeah.
They will.
Yeah, and we would work with FDOT on any message boards. And again, the way we work here is, if it's not working, then we pull it back and we adapt to whatever the situation is. So if it's not, and because we also fear that we're going to have cut through traffic with people on Coconut trying to go across Temple, Citrus Grove, or Keyline to get to Seminole Pratt. And they're just going to be meeting the same situation on Seminole Pratt, but there it'd be worse, because trying to go across 2 lanes of traffic with construction going on the sides is going to be very
To make those
dangerous.
lefts is going to be very dangerous.
Yeah.
Will FDOT provide us with any messaging boards, or is this all something that was going to be on us?
Well, I believe that if anything that we purchase, we will try to get reimbursement either from CSX or potentially from FDOT, but some of this we're going to have to pay for up front. And I believe that's also what Palm Beach County is doing, is going to be seeking reimbursement for any of the costs that are attributed to this. The other thing that we will also be doing is we'll be taking photographs of those roadways that we know are going to be damaged Because again, our roads are designed and constructed for light traffic and for interior movement, not for major cut through. And again, and we can, I think, Ms. Cantley, can you put that FDOT map up or you keep? Oh, okay. Let me,
While we're doing that, I'd also like to point out, because I know we have a lot of people here from IBIS, and thank you for joining us. The way the road system works here in the acreage, the majority of the roads, not including county roads, of course, but the landowners own to the middle of the road, and they provide an easement to Indian Trail to build and maintain the roads. And people here are charged their assessments by benefit. So any additional expenses, additional road grading that's needed, only those residents are paying for. So not only do we have to look out for their safety and their well-being, but also their wallets, right? Because this is going to cost the residents quite a bit of money seeing the cut-through traffic, especially on the dirt roads. We have a road that's near failure, Orange Grove Boulevard. So we really would prefer not to see anyone on that road. That is going to be very detrimental to have any additional traffic on that road. So I want to just explain that so everyone understands how the assessments work here. We're not like a city, and we don't get dollars from gas tax and any other type of tax. It all comes from the back of our residents. So it's very important that we be mindful of that as well, and anything that we have to do. So thank you for understanding that.
thank you. So just quickly on the screen, this is the FDOT map, and basically you see the AADT, which is annual average daily trips. And you can see this is Ibis and Bay Hill, and then over here is what we would consider acreage proper. So you can see there's 41,000 trips daily just east of there. And then as you go back, you can see how the trips are here. Now this is going north, south, and east, west for the daily trips. But now all of this is basically going to be coming onto two roads and then leading to both Okeechobee and Southern. So there's going to be quite a bit of backup. And I know Tom Waxahachie Groves does not want it on Okeechobee, and they're in the same boat that we are about this. So
I would say that that for Okeechobee is the same situation that you have on Coconut, is that, people are waiting 5 or 10 minutes to get out to make a turn. Now, if you add more trips, it's going to be bad.
So the reason why I bring this up is our roads, for the most part, are used to maybe on a really busy day, like maybe hundreds of trips average daily. Now we're going to be seeing all of this potentially going on these roads that most of them are, what's the width, Mr. Ford?
Please keep it down. Thank you. But
Yeah, so our average road width is approximately 20 feet. The average county is approximately 24 feet. So not only do most of our roads dead end, but most of them are much more narrow, and they're certainly not conducive to this. And also our intersections are much more narrow than what you're used to with a county standard intersection. So we were concerned about the safety of our residents getting out, and then also those who are traversing on the county roads as well.
And there's a lot of construction happening along North Lake Boulevard, a lot of commercial construction that's not going to stop. And those vehicles and those deliveries are going to be in this mix.
Yes, so all of that will be.
Please keep it down in the audience so everyone can hear. They have a really hard time hearing on Zoom if there's a lot of background noise. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So basically what we're trying to do is limit the amount of traffic that goes onto these interior roads. Because again, even if you you cut down, for instance, Mandarin, which is way west. It still dead ends at 60th down here, and it ends up back at Seminole Pratt Whitney. So no matter which road you take, and this is something we're going to be getting out to our residents and sharing with Palm Beach County and FDOT so they can share it with residents that live in Palm Beach Gardens or West Palm Beach, that you're just going to end up in a worse situation, as he stated earlier.
Going in a circle, and everybody knows the fastest way to get someplace is a straight line. So cutting through all these roads is not going to help your commute or your trip at all.
So that's basically all I have. I don't know if Mr. Foy has anything that he wants to add from an engineering standpoint, but I think this meeting was also probably built up to be something that it was never intended to do, and that sometimes happens with these types of issues. That would be the responsibility for the Palm Beach County to have that type of meeting with the residents at that level, or the various cities.
And it's my understanding we still don't even have a date yet.
Right now they're saying either this morning they said either July 18th or July 25th, with the latest date being August 1st, because anything after that would be getting into the school calendar year.
And they're not going to work 24/7. That's my understanding.
Not from what they told us this morning.
Okay, that would be helpful. No doubt if that could. I think the plan,
But
folks, please,
They did agree to start on the Friday.
Friday.
So that it would be working over the weekend, and at least that's 2 of the days.
that'll help quite a bit. Yeah. So if anybody has the opportunity to work from home, I suggest you do that. If you've got to make doctor's appointments, make them in the middle of the day, plan accordingly. If you could take a vacation, that would be ideal, but that's not going to be an option for everybody. But yeah, staycation. But you have to think, in the morning commute, you could be adding much more than an hour to your commute. So again, plan accordingly. 2 hours, and 3, because we all know when there's an accident and that road gets closed anywhere near Ibis, and we're going all the way around, we have that issue, and it does take up to 3 hours.
And from a logistics standpoint, for our daily operations, we are not going to be working on any of these roads like Persimmon, Hall, any of the roads where it inconveniences our residents or potential other traffic. Because number one, I don't want to slow traffic down or interrupt it. But number 2 is it would be, I think, dangerous for our employees. So most of our work will be done in the extreme west or the extreme east, where we just don't have a lot of those issues with cut through. And
Excellent.
additionally, we'll probably have some of our employees come in a little later, and some leave earlier. And then one of the things that Mr. Robinson had talked to me about was potential of grading some of our major roads like 130th Street, 168 Mango, that are dirt roads that are over a mile long, that we know clearly are going to see a lot more abuse. We won't necessarily be able to grade all those during the day. So we'll have to do it later in the evening after rush hour. So you may see some upticks with overtime over this 5-day period, because while I understand a lot of people say, well, don't grade them and make them nice, because then people go faster. But the problem is, especially on a couple of these roads with the M1 canal, we'd be very concerned about people because there are no guardrails ending up in the M1. And then also, once it gets to a certain level, it starts destroying the base of the road, and then you're paying more on repairs.
Right.
So-
Is it an option to split the shifts? In other words, if the grader that's going to work in the evening, can he just come in later as opposed to doing overtime? Is that an option?
Well, that's why I was saying some will come in earlier, some may come in later, but it all depends, because this is a weird time of the year where we allow employees to go on vacation. I don't
Lucky
necessarily
them.
want to pull them back, so we may not have that luxury in some
Right.
circumstances. I mean, clearly, we're gonna try to control costs, but
Right.
it's something we do have to consider.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Ford, anything you want to add?
Thank you. I didn't come with any prepared statement. The charge of the engineer as through the state is health, safety and welfare, and that's what we've been talking about. No matter how bad you think this will be, it will get at least that bad. The concern about cut through traffic is not the cut through itself, although that does cause wear and tear at the intersection where they come up to try to merge back in. That will be a larger health, safety and welfare issue than if they stay on the road and get delayed. What would happen with all the cut through is a big parking lot. And you're trying to get out of the parking lot onto the street. The street will flow better than the parking lot. So just like you said earlier, the Coconut Drive way, that will be Temple, Hall, Key Line. Every road that we have that goes through, every road that's paved will be a parking lot, and they will be trying to get out onto the street. So if you're on the cut through road, you're probably going to end up spending more time than if you stayed on the street. It's a health, safety and welfare issue. You know, you get frustrated. I ran into 2 traffic problems coming here tonight. You get frustrated. You lose your temper. You take chances. Rich? Okay. I need to say no more. This is going to be dangerous. Courtesy is what you said at the beginning. We need to have courtesy. We need to post it to people. People need to understand you are going to get frustrated. You are going to be delayed. There's not much that anybody can do about it. If that is shut down, we have a health, safety, and welfare problem. We are not the police department. We are work hand in hand with them. We will do the best we can. Thank you.
Thank you both for those comments, and thank you residents for being here. My biggest concern is the cut through traffic, and it's been 6 years since I retired from that fire station across the street, and I know the times that I had to shut down North Lake for some of our serious crashes. I had people calling me saying, took me 2 and 3 hours just to get out of the acreage and on Okeechobee. With that being said, I'm concerned about the cut through traffic. So what has also happened over the years is that, and especially it's happened with residents who don't know this area, we have a lot of 2-way stops. Unfortunately, we still have not got the 4-way stops that we're hoping to get, but we're still working on that. These 2-way stops are dangerous and they're deadly. And if we're having parking lots and people being impatient and trying to rip through our interior streets, particularly the areas of Avocado, Greatview, and Apache intersected by Keyline, Temple, and Citrus Grove, that area there, we have had devastating crashes in there. And I'm very, very concerned for the safety of our residents. So I agree. I believe that the residents, and I know a lot aren't going to, but to stay on the detour routes of Coconut, Orange, Royal Palm, North Lake West, Seminole, Pratt. And then, like I said, we got the map right for that. We'll be able to post that map up from the FDOT. Okay. Please stay out of the interior roads. And I like the idea of shutting those roads down during those hours.
Yeah. And just to be clear, what we're looking at is just the southbound lanes, not Key Lime or any of the east-west roads, or shutting anything off of Orange, so residents will be able to get in and out fairly freely. But anybody that's coming west on North Lake will not be able to cut down the southbound lanes of those 3 roads.
So to clarify a little bit further, the closure will only be at North Lake. So any of the residents are not going to be locked in. You're not going to go north because there's nowhere to go. All the detour is to take you
And
south regardless.
Northbound lane will not be shut, so they'll be able to go out. If they're coming west.
If they
on
needed to
North
go
Lake,
west.
Yeah,
If,
so.
okay.
But our whole intent there is for all the residents that live in that interior is either to go south to Orange or go to Coconut or Seminole. not to go up to North Lake because you're gonna run into the same problem trying to turn
Right.
west onto North Lake.
And again, we'll have staff there to open the road in case there's any emergency. So I don't want anybody to feel trapped because we all feel trapped enough as it is.
And just quickly, one other thing that Mr. Vasilati spoke to me about the two-way stops, because I was waiting for you to bring it up. But he actually had a good idea. And it's something I'll work with Mr. Foy and Mr. Robinson on, and that is trying to put some barrels not on the road, but just to make the road look like it narrows whenever you get closer to those two-way intersections. So it just makes people go a little bit slower, just in case somebody does
visual.
pull out.
Yep.
Yeah, but it won't block, and it's not intended to stop. It's just intended to make them slow down on the approach to it. So I
And-
thought
and,
that was a good idea.
Yeah, and especially in the areas where we have, I know there's no school, but there is summer school. There were school zones today. Will summer school, do we know, will summer school be over by that time?
It
I-
depends. I think it would depend on when it starts.
Yeah,
Mm.
and that was something that was discussed today on the call with the FDOT in Palm Beach County, was that concern with Seminole Ridge and then the middle school.
On Orange,
Over here on
the elementary.
140th.
Yeah, and the elementary on Orange.
Yeah.
Because that's where I passed today and there were crossing guards and all that. And 180th, although I'm not thinking anybody's gonna go that far west, because again, there's nowhere else to go. So it's just gonna delay you even further by 10 miles.
180th does not directly connect. You're
Yeah.
correct to anything.
Right.
So they'd have to zig and zag. to get back
Exactly.
to
And that's what,
the-
yeah, right. And going west on any of the roads is gonna just create more of a delay for anybody. So.
So I just wanted to clarify. So on North Lake, if you're wanting to make a left onto, let's say, Hall, because you live over that way, how are we allowing that? Let's say they're coming home from an overnight shift and they're caught up in that traffic. How are they letting the people know?
Well, we'll share this with our residents, and like I said, we'll also share it with Palm Beach County
Mhm.
and with the FDOT, who will then spread it to the others
Right.
that live outside of our district. But for people that are coming home on night shift when
Yeah.
this is closed, they're going to be coming from the south, so
Okay.
they should not have to go.
They shouldn't get
yeah,
put into
it's
that,
on-
but just in case they do, there's a way for them to like get in. Okay.
Yeah, they can get in
Okay.
from
If they
Orange,
come up
they can get
Seminole.
in off
Right.
of Seminole, and they can get in off of Coconut.
Okay.
We're only looking at the 3-lane southbound lanes off of North Lake at 140th Hall and Brady.
Okay. And are we going to do the same thing in the evening for rush hour on Orange to prevent them from coming in that way?
We will look at that as it happens. We're hoping that the evening rush hour will be a little different and
Dispersed.
won't have to, because it may be a little more dispersed.
Okay. All right.
And this is something that's going to be fairly fluid as we go through each day to see what's working with the best and where we might need to make some adjustments.
Yeah, or if PBSO or Palm Beach Fire Rescue are saying, hey, we're having an issue here, we would look at that as well. And that's where the district engineer comes into play with that. But our goal is not to do a whole lot of movement, but if we do, we will be getting that out to the public before we did it. And hopefully it wouldn't be out like a couple hours before we put it out the night before.
Right. And so that's a big problem with social media. You can make a post and it won't come up in people's feeds for a day, 2, 3 days. So it's very important. And I'm happy to see, last I looked, 243 people on Zoom. So that's amazing. Yeah, I think that's a record that since I've been here anyway. So that's fantastic. So everybody needs to be mindful, watch the page, watch the website where these updates are headed. And if you have any questions, you could always call the office. They'll of course have all the latest information for everybody, but the best way is, social media and the website.
And we plan once we actually get a final date, a definitive date of when this will start, we plan to send out a text message and it will allow people to opt in so we can send out information. We won't necessarily text them, but what we're going to do is send out a text that with a QR code that will direct them to our Facebook site, page so they can see posts. Because the other thing we plan to do for our residents during this whole scenario, if you will, or event, is if there's an accident on Seminole Pratt, we're going to try to post it. And then usually if there's an accident on a major road, there's almost going to be an accident on a secondary road. So we're going to also try to post that as well to avoid those areas and try to help PBSO and fire rescue maneuver, have residents and other drivers maneuver around that. But
And-
we'll leave the other areas to the county, which today the Palm Beach County PIO did say that she would help us get the information out as well.
Excellent. That's critical. And again, I want to reiterate, if there is an accident, you may not see it, but if you see a first responder coming toward you or behind you, please move out of the way. Not only is it the law, but it's the right thing to do because somebody is in dire need. So this all goes back to being courteous, being considerate of our community and each resident. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I didn't know if PBSO, if they, had a chance, if they, any words of encouragement, kind of what you guys have maybe planned to get it out there, spread the word. I mean, you gave a very good update last time. I don't know if you had any more words of encouragement for us or fire rescue. Anybody would like to get up and kind of let the residents know?
The opportunity. No doubt this is extremely frustrating for everybody, and there's a lot of concerns, and they're very valid concerns. The good thing is that Palm Beach County Fire Rescue is resource rich, and we do have the ability to upstaff units, stage units at specific targeted locations if we need to, if we have to put additional units in temporarily. We adapt very well. So I can't remember a whole lot of occasions we weren't able to rise to. So we're going to do our best to meet the needs of the community as we always do. And I echo just about everything you've all said tonight, that please try to yield to first responders, to police and fire, the best that you can, and show each other some grace. It's going to be extremely frustrating. And the same traffic you're annoyed in sitting in, so is the person behind you and in front of you and around you. So just if you ever wanted to be neighborly, this is the time. So does anybody have any specific questions?
So I had a neighbor contact me over the weekend. Her daughter is due with a baby, and so she's very concerned about if there's an emergency, because Westlake does not treat for labor and delivery. So what I understand, I think
Westlake might not have a labor and delivery, but they will deliver a
they
baby.
will deliver a baby.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm
And
hoping
we
she is
deliver
on.
babies
She's
in
one
the
of
back of rescue trucks
243.
and in living rooms as well. too.
Okay,
So
so that was like one of her top concerns. I think we're kind of concerned with some of the emergencies. I believe Representative Weinberger mentioned that a lane would be opened for emergency services. Is that what's going on there in case of
So
emergency?
specifically on North Lake, where the work is being done, yes, they are going to have a bridge just north of that intersection and where the closure is, that first responders, fire rescue, police and fire can get through, travel a bit down the track and go over to get through. So yes,
Okay.
that to me is not a concern at all. There won't be any traffic around there for us to deal with. Our concerns are in the same roads that you all are speaking about, and gridlock and traffic jams and things like that. So
Well, I think one of the concerns was if we had an emergency and, everything is clogged and North Lake would be accessible, how would they be able to get over those railroad trucks? So I'm glad they have something. That's
they
good.
do. They assured us of that this morning,
Okay,
this
good.
morning. So
Is it the ramp the westbound ramp that they're utilizing off the B line?
I believe they created more or less of a little bridge to get over that part. So we would travel a little bit down the tracks and then over to the north of the intersection is what they stated.
Thank you.
Hello, Chief.
Hi.
Yes, Patty, we do deliver babies, fire rescue. I've delivered 3 during my career. It's not always pretty, but anyways, so something I was thinking about and was, as you mentioned, we are resource rich and we can add units to the road. Peak hours, probably, I think our worst traffic's going to be that 6:30, 7 a.m. for a few hours. And then in the evening, maybe 4:30 to 7:30, 8, if I had to guess about this. So in the evening, not so bad. If we were to go with extra units, maybe an extra rescue, which is an ambulance, folks, or suppression unit, which is our fire engines, which also have paramedics on them. And those guys can deliver babies too, right off a fire engine. Maybe we could look into adding another unit or 2 out here in a strategic location, not in a fire station, hire additional crews, work a 12 or 14-hour shift, and
So
use
again,
extra units
the
like that.
situation itself will dictate, but yes, we do have the ability to do that if it's shown like on day one, like you were describing. We're going to monitor the situation and follow it very closely. If we think that there's a need there, then absolutely.
Okay. And I know that's not your call. That's
It's
above
not,
you,
but
but
you know, operations and administration wants what's best for the residents as well as I do. So
thank you so much.
yes, no,
Thank you.
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Anybody else?
Thank you.
Mr. Hanson, anything else? Okay. All right. Okay. Captain Sant, welcome.
Good evening. It won't be as informed or theatrical as last presentation, but isn't it weird? You would have thought I knew this was coming based on the topic conversation at our last meeting about courtesy. I want to say thank you to you all. And I want to say thank you to everybody in the audience tonight and on Zoom in the community that have felt this that important to be here to listen. Okay. And please, the courtesy part is important. Keep saying it. Keep saying it. I'm going to make it real brief. We're going to get through this. I promise you that. I won't get into the minutia or the weeds on what my plan is, what the sheriff's office plan is, but we're in the developing phase of the plan and we're way ahead of schedule. Good thing is we have some time here. This is a forecastable situation. There's parameters of the beginning date and somewhat what we know is what the end date's going to be. All right. So we can work with that. We're all going to get through it together. I promise you, it's okay. All right. To the gentleman to my right here, I won't have him come up and speak, but that is our traffic commander. He's already assured me assets and boots on the ground, motorcycles, cars. So this is going to be a big traffic event. I spent many years as a commander within the agency as an operational commander. I know how to do this. This agency is very good at doing this. We're partnering with the fire rescue. We're partnering with our neighbors. We're partnering with our political leaders from the towns. Did I mention we're going to get through this? All right. Please. Patience, cooperation, and we'll get through it. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain. All right. Everybody's good?
I have one more. I know we have the roadway signs that we usually put up when we're having construction. Could we put positive, like, hey, be courteous on these routes to like maybe remind people and whatnot? Maybe the neighbors on these roads can put some positive signs to make people relax. I don't know. But
That's cute. We get the project for the kids, right? While they're
but
home.
maybe
they can
people make posters or something
signs.
just to remind them to be courteous, and we're all stuck in this situation together.
Mhm.
I think it might be important to put up some of those signs, maybe saying that, you know, local traffic only, and also maybe courteous, please be courteous reminders.
Watch out for children.
Yeah.
We have a lot of kids in the community that are going to be playing. So animals, yeah, we have a lot of animals out here, domestic and wild. And so please watch for the animals as well.
As
We'll reiterate that.
yeah, through the chair. as part of the MOT plan, we have two that we own, but we'd actually rent a few more for however long, whether it lasts 5 days or 8 days. So we can put those types of messages as well as some informational messaging.
Be nice or Captain Sand's coming for you.
Yeah.
There you go.
Through the chair, just for clarification, MOT has been used many times. That means maintenance of traffic, in case you didn't know.
Thank you. I appreciate the description, the identification for the community. Thank you. Not everybody knows our acronyms, so I appreciate that. All right. Well, I guess we could, so we have a motion to move forward and then we'll take public comment.
I'll make the motion to direct staff to protect and ensure the safety, health, and welfare of the residents, property, infrastructure, including but not limited to the use, to the use local traffic detour signage, road control devices, expanded PBSO coverage, and to properly disseminate information during the CSX closure at North Lake Boulevard and State Road 710 Beeline Highway.
And I'll second.
Patty made the motion. Patty made the motion. Can you clear the screen? It shows I made the motion. I can't make a motion. No problem. Bear with us. This is a new system that we're working with, so we have some bugs to work out. I can't read. Oh, there we go. Okay, Patty, I'm sorry. Hit your button again. I'm sorry. No, this. No.
Motion,
Yep,
sorry,
there we go.
cancel.
Okay. All right, so
Motion.
it should pop up now. There we go. Okay, and Richard, sorry. All right, we're getting there. All right. So we're going to take public comment now. And we're going to have, like I said, 2 minutes. If you don't need the whole 2 minutes. What? Yes, because the people on Zoom can't see it yet. So we're still speaking everything. Oh, it's fixed now? Oh, fantastic. You don't have to.
Through the chair, Mr. David Ricks, who's the Palm Beach County engineer, would like to speak. If
Oh,
he could.
absolutely. I didn't think he was going to be able to join us this evening. Absolutely. Just a moment, folks. Yes, Mr. Ricks, please go right ahead. Mr. Ricks?
Yeah, he's been promoted to a panel.
Can you hear me now?
Now we can. Welcome. Good evening.
Thank you. Your comments, everyone comments on the board, especially the fire rescue and people so are right on target, being courteous. It's going to be a challenge. Together, I think we can make it. But in terms of from the county engineer, we're trying to set meeting that Burgess, I think, wants to set up to have at a tactical level to kind of work through the details, because there's a lot of operational things we'll work through there. So we'll try to set that up as soon as possible. The other piece in terms of we got, county construction projects on North Lake and Seminole Pratt, those work will be suspended. There will be no work during this closure once we get the closure date. And we'll make sure the road service is prepared for that level of traffic. But this is definitely going to be a challenge, and we're here to make it happen. So, but to thank you for the opportunity to speak, and but everybody, you are right on target in terms of what you want to do.
Thank you, Mr. Ricks. And I also want to thank you for bringing Mr. Hanson in on the meeting on the 13th. It hadn't not been for you. I don't know when we would have found out what was going on. So I really appreciate you getting the district involved. Our 47,000 residents just in the acreage in Loxahatchee alone. So we really appreciate that. Thank you.
I know I saw the list already going. I know Pia is number one.
Okay.
Is Pia scoring? Followed by William Aufschlag and Madeline McGovern.
Orange Grove Boulevard. Thank you, board. Thank you, staff, Burgess especially, and thank you, law enforcement, for being here and for trying to look out for us. So it sounds a little nebulous still, and I guess my biggest concern is about what exactly law enforcement is planning or other measures are planned to keep cars on county roads and on the detour route. I heard Burgess talk about a few roads, but what about traffic going north on Coconut? If they don't make that turn on Orange, or, you know, and are we gonna make that a road that's also local traffic? The same thing for return traffic coming back up State Road 7 in the evening. So people are going to try Orange Grove, Persimmon, before, so they don't get stuck at the bottleneck at Orange or 60th. So it would be really good if we had specific plans, and maybe law enforcement could actually be there to help us with that. I don't know if that's feasible. I do want to say that this is a wake-up call. So widening State Road 7, widening Coconut before extending State Road 7. 26 or 29 homes further that are going to be built out west, with just 60th being paved only to Seminole. We're going to end up in this very same situation with our local roads being overrun. We must change the priorities, the order of those things that are being done, and we must complete the existing road projects before any additional land use changes, before any additional building, until our roads catch up with the development. We have to really press the county, press the state. We need it. Thank you, folks.
Thank you. And those are county issues, just to clarify.
Thanks.
Madeline McGovern. And followed by Madeline, I'm sorry, I skipped William Offschlag. Sorry, William. Sorry. After William will be Madeline, and then John Carter.
William Offschlag, 73rd Street North. Two quick questions, very simple. One, why can't this be done at night and reopened in the morning? Secondly, can we address that first? Or?
Yeah, we're not really supposed to have it back and forth, but as we said, this is all up to CSX, where we've tried to get them to work 24/7.
And that was the other question.
Yeah,
Are they planning
yeah.
on doing 24/7 shifts?
This is all still being disseminated.
Through the chair, just to clarify, from what I understand from CSX is even if they only worked at night, the railroad crossing would still have to be shut down. They could not allow any traffic across it, which is why Chief Romero said that they had to put the crossing further to the north. Just so, yeah, but we don't represent CSX.
No.
That's just what they explained to me.
If we had a say, we would make it happen, but unfortunately we don't. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry, Ms. McGovern. After Ms.
Madeline
McGovern will be John
McGovern,
Carter.
And I live at Ibis. And my concern, and I think we have the best police and the best firefighters and EMTs ever. And they're ever present, but those roads, first of all, Seminole Pratt Whitney is a disaster. It's under total construction. There's no room for an ambulance to get by there with cars that are all lined up. People have heart attacks. People have other emergencies. It's not the firefighters. There's no place for the cars to move to let the ambulances get through. That's the main issue. And there are people who have radiation therapy and chemotherapy. They're not going south. They have to go north to Gardens Hospital, to Jupiter Hospital. Who's going to pay for them to stay in hotels? Because that's the only option. But mostly I am concerned both real emergencies and ambulances getting through, because it's going to be totally untenable. And as an aside, as somebody who's lived out west here for the last 21 years, I feel that the western part of Palm Beach County has been treated like stepchildren. And the county keeps approving community after community after community. There's another one now going up again. And they don't deal with the infrastructure. North Lake needs to be widened. Seminole Pratt Whitney needs to be widened. And why doesn't Seminole Pratt Whitney go to Beeline? Why doesn't Avenue go to Beeline? We are literally going to be trapped like prisoners because people who are going to need to go to work are going to take them 3 hours at best. It's really a terrible situation. I'm not yelling at you at all, believe me.
It's frustrating for everybody.
Disrespect for what you're all trying to do
Absolutely
here
understand.
with our firefighters and our police are trying to do.
Thank you.
But it is going to be a nightmare.
We know. That's why we're trying to
And most of all,
find solutions. Thank you.
I'm concerned about people who have real emergencies and how many additional calls will they get because people say, oh my goodness, I can't get to such and I'm sick. They can't drive themselves there. So they're going to call 911. You're going to have an overflow of that.
Yes. Thank
That's
you.
all I want to say.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for everything you're all doing.
Thank you.
Ma'am, can I respond real quick? Ma'am? Hello. Hi, I'm Richard. Just real quick. I'm hoping that the residents that are here from IBIS will take some time, if you can, after this meeting, stay, meet with me. I appreciate everything you just said about how we're trapped out here. This started decades ago from the city of West Palm Beach because of the IBIS neighborhood. And the State Road 7 extension, the Roebuck Road extension would be tremendously helpful right now.
I'm going.
I promise you, this has nothing to do with drinking water. And the folks from IBIS and the majority of you guys, this has been going on for decades. This started years ago.
I'm here 21 years, I know. And by the way,
You guys have been lied to.
for State Road 7, as
Yes.
are many of my friends.
Many are, they are. I spoke with them, but you guys have been lied to for years from your own politicians from the city. So I have vast knowledge on the history of this. And if you guys would like a little class from me afterwards, I'd be happy to speak with you, or please give Scarlett your name and phone numbers. I will be happy to call you and talk to you and give you the real truth of what has happened with IBIS over the years. I love IBIS. It's a beautiful neighborhood, but what the city has done for a handful of people in that neighborhood has.
And not all of us ever felt that way, by the way.
And I know everybody doesn't feel that way, but it's been indoctrinated over the years, and it's carried over to the other neighborhoods that are also in the city of West Palm Beach, built on the wetlands too. But I'd be happy to talk with you guys on the phone after the meeting. Invite me to your clubhouse. I'd be happy to talk.
Let us all.
I will invite you to lunch.
Thank you.
We can actually get to you. Thank you.
We have John Carter, and then after John Carter will be Christine Krugnola Petrunin.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board, Representative Weinberger, Mayor Kane, staff, and members of the community. I'm John Carter. I'm here on behalf of County Commissioner and Vice Mayor Sarah Baxter, who is currently attending the Florida Association of Counties with the rest of our Board of County Commissioners. I too had the privilege of being on the FDOT call with Burgess, and a lot of residents have reached out to our office asking for information. And one thing that all the cities did agree on is that we need a coordinated and unified response. Now is not the time to politicize issues or point fingers, although it is very nice to see IBIS join the cause for wider roads and more extensions. So that is refreshing to see. One of the things we are going to be doing is exploring with FDOT in every direct mail program once the flyer has been finalized by FDOT to get it to the residents of IBIS and the acreage to make sure that they're aware. Obviously, this is a major traffic mitigation and public information campaign. The Vice Mayor and county staff are here to assist all of our municipalities as well as the ITID in getting out information and making sure that at the end of the day, everyone just remembers to be kind and please rewind. We are going to get through this. It does highlight the need for a lot of projects that are currently in the works. And like what was said, the FDOT has instructed the North Lake construction to cease until the road is reopened, as well as they will be doing some improvements along Beeline that would have required a future road closure. They are going to try to utilize the next 5 to 8 days that they have in order to do that. So Sarah Baxter's office is here to answer any questions. We're here to be an ally, a partner to all of our municipalities. The engineering department will be activating more modems and CCTV cameras to make sure we can improve the flow of traffic as much as we can, because we just got to get everyone out of there. So thank you for having this meeting. I think it's very important that we all keep the residents informed. And when we get that go day, we will have a unified response. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Petrinin? And then we'll have Jeff Tessair and Rich Lewis.
Hello, yes, I'm Christine and my husband Vladimir. We've lived in Avenir for this Regency Way in Avenir for about the last year and a half. And I'd like all the TV news stations to please remember us, that I know IBIS is wonderful, but Avenir should be mentioned too on the TV, because we, we're also impacted greatly by the roads closing. And a lot of my questions have been answered, but I just want to know about going to the airport. We were going to have people come visit us. So that's why we don't know the 18th, the 25th, whatever. Is there a way to come out of Avenir, take a left, take a right, and get to the airport within do you have to give 3 or 4 or 5 hours to get to the airport when this happens? That's what I need to know.
Well, hopefully the plane's not coming in during rush hour. So make sure they reschedule it. Okay. Yeah, you'll have to take Coconut or Seminole Pratt, go down to Southern Boulevard, and then it's a straight shot from there.
Okay.
So hopefully they can get a flight that's going to be, amiable to the time frame. But tell them come in late at night, and then you won't have to worry.
All right.
Arrival at midnight would be a good time.
Yes.
All right. Okay. But I really do appreciate you having this meeting here. So thank you again.
Thank you.
We have Mr. Tessair, and Mr. Lewis will be right behind him.
Some of the things well, first of all, my name's Jeff Tessar. I live on North 59th Street. Been out here 33 years, and it's definitely growing up, definitely traffic issues. We all know that. I heard a lot of things that a lot of people got up and spoke about, and I hope that people are listening to that. Right now, I live on 59th Street. On 60th there, where Service Road 7 dumps out on Royal Palm, and then Royal Palm in the intersection there. If you ever been down there at 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I live on 59th Street. It's like I-95. It's terrible. And then when there's an accident, it's terrible. And we've already reached out, and the captain, his people are awesome. They come out, they're the best. And you know who's going to make this work? That man right there. It's because you know what? I'm not a politician. And I say it the way it is. But you better have police at intersections, not going with lights. I mean, it's a travesty now on North Lake with them not closing it down. When whoever our politicians let them close roads down and put road blocks up even before they start their construction. It's a mess. There's no consideration whatsoever. And let me say this. I hear you talk about being polite, being nice, let the person out of their house. You're living in a world that's not going to happen. And I'll tell you something else.
Trying to manifest it to the universe.
The railroad doesn't dictate to us. We're making a sacrifice to help them. Let me ask some questions. Are they starting this on Friday night?
Yes.
Okay.
I agree.
Good. That's good. That's a good question. And we were going from 8 days to 5 days, right? So that's another good thing.
Hopefully.
So that's the long and short I have to say. But right now I don't have to sit here. You hear the people. And can you imagine if State Road 7 did go out to North Lake? How many years did our leaders fail? Especially the ones in the acreage who don't speak up. That's the shame of it. That's the shame of it. Good luck. Thank you.
After Mr. Lewis will be Lynn Levine and Juanita Molina.
Wow, that's going to be tough to follow.
You just did.
I got to say, it's real encouraging this much community participation, et cetera, on such a vital issue. It seemed to me from what I'm hearing, a lot of the concern, especially what's going to go south off of North Lake. One of the suggestions I have, and I went and checked it out before coming here tonight, is the extension of Coconut all the way out to Beeline. It's already started. Looks like it's about a mile worth of dirt going in. Is it possible to postpone 2-3 weeks to give them enough time to at least lay down one layer of blacktop on the Coconut to get to Beeline, which will take people up PGA and relieve a whole bunch of what I kept hearing tonight, the jam up and the hassles that are going to be south of North Lake going through all of those communities. You got 2 entrances to get to Coconut. You got Avenue that'll take you further north in the Coconut, as well as going directly on the Coconut through there. If they could just, get 1 lane each way going on that, to me, it would seem like it would take a tremendous burden off of what everybody heading south to get around things. You'll hit Beeline south of where the construction's going to be, so you can get back on North Lake, or you can take PGA down to the Gardens Mall or the hospitals or whatever people are going to need. And I haven't heard anybody say anything about that. Has that been considered at all?
Yeah, is the crossing done at the Beeline?
Unfortunately, I don't think we're able to answer that because that's not under our realm of control. So that would not be something we could answer. No, we're all district. We're all Indian Trails. This is
So, Mr.
all
Lewis.
PSX. Yeah.
And
Okay, I thought he was.
Mr. Lewis,
Yes.
no, this way. No.
Behind you.
He's right here.
Supervisor Badley.
Big echo in here.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. One of my concerns is I don't know whether this was an emergency, something unforeseen railroad crossing that needs to be repaired, or this project started in 2013, right? This is when this started to plan this whole North Lake Beeline thing at a cost of 148 million. Was this known, or did this just happen? Now, and I don't know the answer to that, but what is going to happen eventually, and it's not going to happen right now. The last I was told that Coconut is going through to that Beeline PGA area. It will be 4 lanes. It's a county road, and it will happen. Mr. Carter, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. It will be after the 1,000th home has its certificate of occupancy in Avenir. I don't know where they're at with that yet. Obviously, we have nothing to do with
Is that
that.
a movable bogey, though? It seems to me with the prices that we
That's
have,
Gardens.
to use that kind of
Where they have the round.
trigger to pull it off.
Right.
And I don't, safety for both rail traffic and vehicle traffic is the utmost.
It would be tremendous help, and you're 100% correct, but it's not going to happen this week. And
Well, but maybe this could get pushed out a month till all the summer schools are done too. I don't know.
Yeah.
Will school
Yeah, but
start
then
after
school
Labor Day?
starts in August. So, and I think that's what
11th.
the line is trying to get it done before the school regular.
Well, and
school year
maybe
starts.
push it out 2 weeks to give them a chance to get 1 lane connected to Beeline.
And the Gardens is involved in all these meetings, I'm presuming.
Yes, Palm Beach Gardens as well as the city of West Palm Beach. And then Mr. Ricks, after we had asked for it, included Loxahatchee Groves, Royal Palm Beach, Westlake, and Wellington.
And then we have a meeting with all the mayors coming up.
Well, yes. I think you're
Yeah,
thinking about
I'm
that.
working on that. So that is, I'll be more than happy to bring that up
Especially
to the board. So the Gardens Commissioners, I'd be more than happy to, because it would make a tremendous difference if they could hustle and get that done. It is potentially possible if people want to see results. So I'd be more than
Seems like
happy
it'd
to.
alleviate a lot of the problems with people getting out of their driveways and everything else.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And safety issues.
I agree. I agree with you. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay.
Through the chair.
So we have, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm
Go ahead.
sorry. It is a really excellent idea, but we're not sure that the railroad crossing at that
It's ready.
section
That's what I was
will even
saying.
be ready
Right.
even in 2
that's
months.
That's going to be what the problem is because remember that same railroad goes right there. So unless that's built, then having the road there isn't going to matter. But yeah, this is something that we'll definitely discuss with the leaders in Gardens.
So we have Lynn Levin and Juanita Molina will be next.
Hi, I just want to say that my neighbor really put it very well when she was discussing we have a lot of elderly people in Ibis now, and people are going to the doctors every day. They're getting treatments, they're doing everything. And a lot of us go to the hospitals out north, the Gardens Hospital out in Jupiter. So, I mean, I was wondering if they could accommodate a road being open one lane for so many hours a day so that people can go to where they need to go and take care of. This is not an emergency situation, but for a lot of people it is. They need chemotherapy, they need treatments, and you can't just shut down the road. You've got to let people have access to get to their doctors and the hospitals. So I think that's a very important thing that needs to be considered. And if there is some way to modify the closure, that there could be some way of keeping one lane open for part of the day or whatever. It's just something to think about.
Thank you. And all the leaders will continue to discuss other options. So thank you very much.
Miss Molina? And then after Miss Molina, we have Nancy Lewis.
Hi. First time. Ooh, stage fright.
Don't be nervous. We're all friendly.
We live off of 75th and 75th Lane North, off of Hall. Okay, so like the people in front were saying ahead of me, it would have been nice for a compromise, at least morning rush hour, but that's just me on a soapbox here. What happens if after, because of what's going on, after 8 days? Like, if that's what they've said, I mean, 5, ideally, 8, okay, what if more? What happens then? Also, for some of us who are federal employees that work at the VA hospital, in case of an emergency hurricane, like, I have a husband who is Leo. He does not drive a squad car, but he does have to make it to the VA. Well, there's tons of vets out here. Hoorah. I mean, what happens? Yeah. Yeah, federal employees at VA hospital, like I said, there's tons of us out here that,
Right.
get our care there and, yeah. Okay.
I understand. Thank you.
Through the chair.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, so.
But I just received a text message from our intergovernmental affairs consultant, and they have confirmed with both David Ricks and some others that CSX will be working 24/7. So
Thank you, Mr. Ricks. Thank you, CSX. That is music to our ears. Music to our ears. I want to thank everybody. We have this meeting here, but I assure you, since the 13th, our teams have been working diligently on this. Here locally at Indian Trail, your county commissioners that have residents in the district, Sarah Baxter, Mayor Marino, Greg Weiss, everybody's been working really hard with their staff. As you can see, our representative is here, our state representative, Meg Weinberger. So everybody is really trying to do everything they can to work together and lessen the impact of the residents, because you are why we're all here. So you are the ones that make the world go round, and we do our best for you. So thank you all for that wonderful news, and that's going to help a lot.
Okay, so we have Miss Lewis and then Lou Colatuoni. I'm just going to call you Lou. And then after Lou will be Bob Morgan.
Good evening. Thank you very much. We are new to the area. We moved here from Michigan in January, so we come from a place of lack of information. So I apologize if the question sounds like I'm very misinformed, but I am. I was just wondering, not sure of, we don't go south too often. We typically go north and east. But are there a lot of traffic lights that are going to be involved in the detours? And if so, has there been any discussion about changing the timing of lights during the heavy traffic hours to accommodate the flow?
PBSO is working on something. Mr. Floyd, did you want to? I don't know what pickling is. Yes, the answer is yes. Is simple form. Yeah. Yeah.
Palm Beach County has a number of traffic signals that are tied into their system. They can operate from downtown or at Vista Center. So they will be operating those. Not all traffic signals are on that, but the major ones like at Okeechobee and State Road 7 and such are on that system. And they have promised us that they will monitor and change timing as needed.
Beautiful. Thank you. And thank you, Palm Beach County.
I'm sorry, I'm going to break in on this. One of my concerns will be at Seminole Pratt and North Lake. You got that short lane that goes straight north towards Seminole, to Corbett rather. We really need to think about keeping somebody there or shutting down that straight lane or doing something, because there's going to be a T-bone or something happening there. It's already a dangerous intersection in my opinion. But not having somebody there to help control or maybe make that straight lane a little bit longer, because it's very short. I think it's maybe, if we're lucky, a block. All of a sudden, it's just people jump into that straight lane and go north on Seminole Pratt right at North Lake. So we got to be concerned there, because there's going to be a ton of traffic making that left turn at North Lake and Seminole to head south. Sorry, just my.
One second. Mr. Ricks, are you still on? No, I don't think so. How close, does anybody know how close we are to the actual traffic light that's there and covered up can that be ready? Well, there's one behind it. There's an actual traffic light behind it.
No, there's one, and I think it's flashing yellow.
Okay, so if we could make that an actual traffic light instead of a flashing yellow, even if it's just something temporary, that might work. Yeah.
It's a concern just on a regular day, but this is going to be an extreme concern, because you're going to have so much, the volume of traffic making that left. And then the other concern you have to have is the people cutting through to Tangelo, and making that left up on the northern part of Seminole Pratt to head south. That you're going to have a lot of traffic over there too. So that's another spot where you're going to have to look at putting local traffic only and trying to limit that.
Through the chair,
Yeah.
just quick.
And then Mr. Vesalotti.
Yeah.
No,
I just wanted to
good. Yeah.
respond to
Yeah.
that question. So, Mr. Robinson and I are taking notes. So afterwards, we can address that, but we made notes about that, as well as what, Ms. Pia brought up earlier about, coconut, and then also
Orange Grove.
avocado. Well, Orange Grove and Persimmon are going to be a problem, because there's a permitted connection to the county through the ILA for those roads. So that's something we'd have to have Mr. Palin and Ms. Viator as general counsel take a look at.
Thank you.
But
Mr.
we'll certainly
Vesalotti.
look at some of these other roads.
Thank you.
So, I was going to respond to Ms. Farrell's question about Seminole Pratt North Lake, but I believe as you were walking up, looks like you got the information from the TPA or FDOT in regards to that intersection and possible changes to that. Do you have that map in front of you?
Yes, so
Thank you.
what I have right now is FDOT's transportation consultant has been working with Palm Beach County's consultants and engineering department and analyzing like every intersection within the acreage. They've got, I've got 20 pages of documents, pictures of what needs to be done, what pothole needs to be filled, what street needs to be swept, construction project needs to be freezed. And what they've identified is removing the stop sign on the westbound approach and implementing the flashing yellow on a westbound and the northbound, southbound, implementing flashing reds, even if it's just temporarily. And we will be adding modems and CCTV cameras to even traffic lights that we currently do not control at the central headquarters. So they will have the ability to do that for this. So I think you guys are gonna see an otherworldly response in the next 3 weeks.
Excellent. Okay, thanks.
Lucy.
Good evening, everybody. This statement is to the residents of the acreage. 48 years out here, I believe I've watched this community deteriorate significantly, especially over the past 25 years. The crushing traffic, the crime rate increases, the just overall attitude of I don't give a darn, while our taxes continuously increase and promises are never kept. 1990, State Road 7 was supposed to be completed. 4 lanes. They haven't done it yet. It's supposed to go through to North Lake Boulevard. They haven't done it yet. They want to push it over onto Coconut. But now we got Palm Beach Gardens to deal with that didn't even exist out here before. They haven't done it yet. Seminole Pratt Whitney Road, an emergency escape to the north, was supposed to be completed. We're being told that's like 30 years out. Okay. So basically, you're paying taxes. I'm sure you're happy with how low they are. Your representatives are not doing their jobs. The county commissioners have never funded a road that doesn't lead to a development. Like, look at us. Do we need a go-around road like they have in DC? A road that cuts around all the traffic just to help people be able to move safely? No. If it's not funded by a developer, they don't want to do it. When they do it on their timetable, and they do it 20 years too late. The entire county's planning, according to George Webb, the former county engineers, is 30 years behind schedule. North Lake Boulevard should be increased by at least 4 lanes in each direction. They should already be looking at making Southern Boulevard 6 more lanes in each direction. George Webb said, what do you want me to do? Build a second level on North Lake? Where am I supposed to put all this traffic? Yet the county commissioners keep approving new projects. The public is flat getting screwed. Quality life in this county is being diminished. And I want to know the answer to this. What is the quality of life and what are their plans for it? What is the future going to bring? And why do the taxpayers always end up behind and paying for it? We shouldn't be having this conversation tonight about a northern way out. IBIS should have been put under control years ago. And West Palm Beach the county should have put pressure on West Palm Beach, their biggest city, to get off of what they're doing with these crazy, never-ending made-up lawsuits that we all know are a joke. They've tortured the Western communities. And I, for one, say the people of the acreage must unite, come together, form committees. If our voices aren't heard in the county commissioners' meetings, they will continue to take advantage of us and treat us like second-class taxpayers. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Bob, follow that one.
Bob Morgan, Acreage Landowners Association. That one after my bulldog. Okay. Mr. Hanson was mentioning about advertising and putting stuff on social media. I use an app called Pulse Point, and I try to use that to help our community locally to get around during mostly rush hour. But if I do see something that's pretty major, I posted on a Facebook group, North Lake Boulevard updates. There's 7,100 people on that. If you could post that also with any kind of advertisement, I have nothing to do during the day and night. So I do watch it as accidents happen. I can extend it out to Okeechobee and Southern, add that to the North Lake Boulevard's updates, and then tag everyone as long as people don't get too upset about me doing that.
I think people would appreciate that. So thank you.
Pardon me?
I think people would appreciate it.
So with this disaster that's about to happen. So I'll see what I can do about helping out there. But if you can get the word out to get the North Lake Boulevard's updates on Facebook, get the people on there when they're getting ready to travel to and from work or wherever they're going, take a look at it, see if there's any recent posts. Also with Waze, Google Maps, and any other navigation tools that actually show accidents. They might want to put that on the advertisement. And that's about it for now. I do have a flyer up here for everybody back there, I'm not supposed to look back, but anybody that's concerned about the gas station that's going to be proposed for North Lake Boulevard in Seminole Pratt, I have a flyer up here with a petition to let the commissioners know, and the staff, well, the staff at county already said no, it shouldn't be there, but for some reason our commissioners don't seem to take their word. But I do have a flyer up here with the petition. If you could please sign the petition if you're not interested in another 7-Eleven within a 5-mile radius. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Victoria Nowlin.
You stole my thunder. You asked some questions. I had the two concerns. I live north of North Lake. Are you going to stop the traffic heading north on Greatview and Hall and Apache over to Tangelo to swing around and skate by that light? Because I've been at near misses at the corner of Seminole Pratt and North Lake multiple times because the people making that left turn off of North Lake onto Seminole Pratt do not look right. And right now there's bushes blocking that direction too. You can barely see, you have to really pull out. They don't look right. And that's a straight through. There's no stop there. So if you're going to stop people heading south at rush hour, I suggest that you stop them heading north on Greatview or Hall or Apache to Tangelo and try to escape around that light. And I know that light is not Indian Trail, but where I live, my street, that's Indian Trail. So I appreciate some kind of concern. And I also want to let you know that your legislators and your county commissioners and your city commissioners and Indian Trail and everyone else have been working on this day and night with CSX. And CSX is a private business and it's really hard to work with that kind of people. They have to do the work. It's a safety issue for Amtrak. So, you know, I'm on both sides of the fence now. I don't know who to blame and I don't know who to thank. So that was my comments.
Thank you.
Mary.
We have quite a few attendants with raised hands.
Just to add to that, I was almost hit by a semi on Seminole Pratt and North Lake who didn't check to see if cars were coming from the north side heading south. So, but my concern is also the road going north because there's such a short straight lane because they just kind of cut over like a block before. But yeah, that intersection, I can't believe we haven't had more accidents there with the way that's set up right now. All right.
13 on, so.
First one's Ann.
Ann, go ahead, Ann.
Hi, what exactly is the definition of rush hour?
I'm sorry, the definition of what? Rush hour?
Rush hour.
Well, I would say right now, I think it starts picking up around right before 7 a.m. and probably goes into about 8:30, 9 o'clock. So I would assume it would probably start a little bit earlier than that now and go a little bit later than that because people are going to be stuck for probably a good 2 to 3 hours trying to get out of here. It's sand going through a funnel. That's what this is right now. So.
Okay, so next question, will the sheriff be at the lighted intersection for left-hand turns?
For which road, ma'am?
Oh, I don't know, from us trying to get to Lake Worth through Coconut to whatever, 60th to Orange to State Road 7.
I believe that's something that PBSO, Captain Sant mentioned earlier. They're still in the planning stages and that would have to be coordinated also with Palm Beach County Engineering, FDOT, because of the overall movement of how the signalizations work. And then also the local municipalities, including Indian Trail Improvement District.
Thank you.
Okay, one more question. Will Palm Beach County lift the bed tax for those of us who are going to try to I don't know, stay someplace else, like John Prince?
That's a good question and one we'll have to inquire about. We'll add that to the list for you, Ann.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
iPhone 502.
Hi, iPhone 502. Can you just state your name for the record, please?
Keith Giordano.
Hi, Keith.
Hello. Y'all doing a good job. Kind of glad I'm not there. But I have a few comments that I'd like to make. First of all, we heard you guys talk about residents being courteous to each other. I think if West Palm, Royal Palm Beach, Palm Beach Gardens, and everybody learned to work and play well together, we would have uh, Coconut through to the B line, we'd have State Road 7 through, and we'd have a lot of the problems that we're discussing today solved. I appreciate Palm Beach Sheriff's Office getting involved because some other municipalities, their police, they do a good job, but they don't know traffic control. We need to make sure that the corner of Orange and Coconut is got a policeman directing traffic or something with the stoplights because that's already a nightmare without this going on. As well as we've discussed it on the board in the past, people are going to cut through Hamlin to 120th to circumvent, so that road needs to be looked at. And Palm Beach Sheriff's Office has to look at State Road 7 because we're going to have a lot more people making illegal passing and speeding. So all that's going to be something that we need to look at with PBSO. A lady earlier said we have to widen the interior roads like Coconut. We don't want to do that because we do that, that'll make people say, well, State Road 7 doesn't need to be put through. We alleviated some of the traffic problems. We talked earlier about a road being laid for fire rescue. I don't understand why we couldn't lay some asphalt temporarily for crossings going east-west so that we can alleviate some of that problem. And someone else said Indian Trail. Indian Trail had nothing to do with a lot of this, so don't blame Indian Trail or you guys on the board. We've been fighting State Road 7 for over 30 years and trying to get things done. So our hands are tied, and we are really the stepchildren of the Western communities. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Randy Parrott.
Hello? Carrie, did you say Randy?
Yeah, Randy Parrott.
Hi, Randy. Can you hear us?
Yes. I'm in. Get you back.
Randy, we can hardly hear you. Can you adjust your mic maybe?
We're not hearing him.
I'm sorry, Randy, we can't hear you. I don't know if there's an adjustment you can make and we'll come back to you.
I have another iPhone.
Okay, hi, iPhone. Welcome to the meeting. Can you state your name? iPhone? Okay.
ZK.
ZK, welcome.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you? What's your name, please?
My name is Zane.
Hi, Zane.
I had a question. I am a physician and I'm on call in July. And if I have to go in at rush hour, I may be needed. I work up in Fort Pierce. So what would I do? I mean, if there's an emergency and I need to be there, obviously it takes me almost an hour. I live over in Avenir to get there, but I mean, I can't allot 3 hours to go that far.
I know, and unfortunately, we don't have an answer for that. Unfortunately, there is not going to be any eastbound travel.
Okay, none whatsoever, not even.
No.
Okay.
And I don't know, and it's not easy for, to say, oh, I'm going to go stay in a hotel for 2 weeks or a week or.
Right.
Well, now that we know they're working 24/7, hopefully it's only going to be a couple of days.
Yeah,
So
okay.
the best
That'll be
news
good.
I think we could have heard tonight.
Definitely.
So, yeah. So I don't know if maybe you can try to adjust your schedule. We don't have a set date yet,
Okay.
but we should hopefully soon know when this is all going to start. But we do know it's going to be a Friday.
Okay.
So maybe
that'll
you could
help.
switch. Yeah, maybe you could switch shifts with somebody else and work during the week and
Right.
as a, before and or after. So just
Okay.
a thought.
Okay. And my only other concern is I came here after the last tornado hit, and my concern is with hurricane season and whatnot. What if by some chance there is a hurricane that happens, like for evacuation? Is there like an emergency plan in place just in case something like this happens?
So typically, we don't really often see storms this early on in the season. Yeah, knock on wood, right?
Okay. Yeah.
However, I'm sure that the powers that be that control
Mhm.
this will figure it out.
Yeah, okay. I mean, it's if it happens. Well, we appreciate all that you guys are doing to make this as seamless as possible. I know it'll be difficult, but we appreciate all of your help.
Thank you. And thank you for your patience throughout this experience.
Sure.
Pauline T. May. Through the chair. Normally, they do not evacuate for hurricanes from the west. So just for anybody who's moved here recently.
Yeah, the rule of thumb is hunker down for a hurricane and run from a flood. Okay, I'm sorry. Next, Carrie, please.
Pauline T. May.
Pauline, good afternoon, good evening.
Yes, good evening. First, I'd like to thank this committee for putting together a very well thought out meeting. It means a lot to all of us that live in these areas. Here's my question. It's pretty simple. Many of us who are retirees could be traveling during that week, taking vacations, going to the airport, so on and so forth. My question is, when do you think you'll have an exact start date? Will it be 1 week before, 2 weeks before, so that we can make alternate plans?
Well, yeah, they have to provide 3 weeks notice. So our guess is that by the end of this week, we will have, whether it'll be July 18th, I doubt that it'll be July 11th or July 25th, or possibly the latest date could be August 1st. So it is completed before the start of the school season, the start of the school session, which is August 11th.
Okay, that's very helpful to know that. And my second question is, we touched on this before about emergencies. Obviously, there are people that are seniors. They could, God forbid, have a heart attack. Will there be airlifting done to any nearby hospitals, helicopters?
I don't think we're going to have a problem with Trauma Hawk. They will still run as normal.
And again,
there's an emergency lane for the rescue trucks and the ambulances to get through. So that should not be an issue at all.
Okay, thank you so very much. I appreciate the meeting tonight.
You're very welcome. Thank you for participating.
Ben Pincus.
Good evening, Ben.
Say that they're gonna create a lane that goes like.
I can't really hear you, but the closed caption is picking you up. Yes, they are creating a lane for emergency responders that will be manned 24/7 by PVSO or West Palm Beach Police or whomever is going to take that on. So yes, there will be a way for emergency vehicles to get through, but only emergency vehicles.
He's still muted.
Ben, we can't hear you. I don't know if you're muted or you're just speaking too low for the closed caption to pick up now. Ben, you're muted. You got to take yourself off mute. There should be a little speaker on your screen with a line. There you go. Hi, Ben.
Okay. Hi.
Silly question. I haven't heard addressed. I haven't been following this topic until recently, but there's 6 lanes, 3 going east, 3 going west. Why are they doing all 6 lanes at once? Why don't they just do them in portions? Is there a reason why that can't be done?
So according to CSX, the rail has to be one length all the way across the intersection. They cannot do half and half. We tried that. That was the first thing we tried, believe me.
I just find it incredulous with all of the traffic we have endured with this construction to the west and to the east. We are suffering as taxpayers, and I think it's really ridiculous that a municipality the size of Palm Beach Gardens, with the city attorneys that we have on staff and all the taxes that we pay, that we're allowing a public company push us around and not coming up with a suitable solution to this, because the ones you have are terrible. Respectfully, people are going to die over this, and I believe that in the pit of my heart, and I'm sorry that this is going this way. It's really terrible.
Thank you. Okay.
One more thing.
Molly D. Yeah,
Sorry,
just
one more thing.
no.
Anyone that
We lost you again, Ben. Go ahead.
Yeah, just quickly. So clearly, we don't represent Palm Beach Gardens either, but from my understanding, County Mayor Marino, who represents Palm Beach Gardens, that's within her district, as well as the city manager, Ron Ferris, they tried to apply a heavy pressure on CSX, but there was no way around this, as you stated earlier, including trying to get them to do it in segments, but CSX could not do it. They have to lay whatever 1,000 feet long.
And we have the Federal Railroad Act
Yeah.
that supersedes quite a bit. So.
Yes. And it's just not simply laying the rails. There's a lot of complication with the leveling and everything.
Leveling,
else, which is why-
compacting.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
Thank you.
Molly D.
Hi, Molly.
Hi, can y'all hear me okay?
I can. Thank you.
Hi, yes. My name is Molly Dannison. I am an OR nurse at Palm Beach Gardens Medical Center. I know a few other nurses that live out here in the acreage in Moxhatchee that work there and in St. Mary's that are in the operating room, and they have a 30-minute window to be on call to get to work to be in surgery. Is there any exception for us? Or are we just on the same boat?
Unfortunately, everybody is in the same boat. And I suggested to the doctor if there's any way you guys could trade shifts for this period of time. I don't know if that's something that your HR people can work on. That might make the most sense, I think.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Carolyn.
Hi, Carolyn.
Hear me okay?
Yes.
Hi, I just want to first by saying, I know you guys have a thankless job. I say that with experience. So I want to say personally, thank you for all you guys are doing and all of you who are doing it. My concern is the trash. I don't want trash services to be holding up this funnel of people getting in and out. So is there any way you guys could work on the trash services during that week, maybe cancel them altogether, or just make sure they're not holding us up? Thank you.
That is a good point. Okay, we'll add that to the list. Thank you. And I'm sorry, what was your name? Because it came up as Carolyn. You don't sound like Carolyn.
I am Carl, Carolyn's husband.
Oh, I see. You're using her login. Okay. Well, thank you, Carl. That was a really good point. Thank you.
Nayud, NYUDD.
Nayud. Welcome. Hello, Nayud. Are you muted?
Okay, hello. Hello, my name is Dr. David Goldberg. And I have a question I have two young adult children that use Palm Train Connection to get to work. Both of them work north of North Lake Boulevard. I understand that the Palm Train is going to have to go through the acreage and down to Okeechobee Boulevard. If they get on the turnpike, will the exit at Beeline and Jog, will that turnpike exit be open and will they be allowed to get off and go east on North Lake?
Yeah, yes, that will be open.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much for having this
Thank
meeting.
you. Of course, thank you.
Michael I'm gonna mess his last name up. Michael Logidisi.
Hi, Michael.
Good evening. I'm a forensic accountant, and I would be happy to calculate the damages that the people in the acreage, in Avenir, in Ibis, in all of the developments are being subjected to, so that CSX, Palm Beach Gardens, the county could be aware of the financial impact that this is having. And I would do that gratis. So if you're interested, I'd be happy to send you contact information.
Well, thank you very much. And you're more than welcome to email it over to the district.
Kelly's iPhone.
Hi, yes. I, can you hear me? I'm sorry.
I don't know if he's still on there.
Can you hear me?
Michael,
I'm sorry.
info@indiantrail.com if you don't have it, or you can just go to the website. Oh, okay.
Understood.
Okay, that was him.
Kelly's iPhone.
Hi, Kelly.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
We can.
Okay, my name's Lance Bradford. I'm speaking on my wife's iPhone. First off, I'd like to
Hi,
say
Lance.
thank you. We've lived out here since '97, and I'd like to tell you guys thank you for what you're trying to do to get the information out, and I greatly appreciate it. And like everybody said before, I think sometimes your job is a very thankless job, and you sit there and you bear it and you take it, and we appreciate that. What my thought, and maybe this is really for, I guess, the future, but obviously we're going to see how well the CCs are going to work or how bad it's going to be for us. But my point is, since this is such a bad spot for everybody in the community now, maybe it's an opportunity for us to take this and run with it. Is there a possibility that maybe later on in the next few months, you guys would be willing to form another meeting like this, and maybe we can get together and we can talk about, and you guys would know more about this than I would, about obtaining a lobbyist, getting some attorneys, and seeing what we can do to expedite some of these road plans, like the gentleman earlier said, that have been just sitting around for years and we've been battling. Maybe that State Road 7 extension road, maybe Seminole Pratt going to Beeline. I mean, is there an opportunity for us here now that we've got a lot of people's ear in the community to maybe have a meeting and get some lobbyists, get some attorneys? I mean, listen, I'm willing as a resident, and I think some other people would be willing to do this. Is I'd be willing to make a monetary contribution to get this thing going to solve this problem, because
we can't expend that.
Because
Well,
like everybody said, they're just going to continue to build these communities with Avenir and Westlake and the communities out west. Is there anything we can do like that in the future? Thank you again.
Thank you, and I appreciate the comments. FDOT appears to be moving forward with the State Road 7 project, last we heard. But I would like to direct you to the Acreage Landowners Association. That is our liaison from the community, and I think that would be the best avenue to do that. I don't know that the district, we're a special district, that we could expend funding to do something like that, but it is definitely under the purview of the acreage landowners. So I will ask if you could send an email, info@indiantrail.com, asking to be connected with the Acreage Landowners Association, and we will there direct you how to reach out to them.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Wesley Wells.
Hi, Wesley. Wesley, can you hear us?
Can you hear me now?
We can't hear you.
Hello, I'm unmuted now.
Oh, there you are.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, I'm actually Jessica Flynn, Wesley Wells' wife.
Hi.
I'm born and raised here. I'm 33 years old. I chose to buy a house in the north section of the acreage because it's kind of quiet, like how I used to remember growing up on Coconut was, which obviously is no longer the case. But I just want to encourage everyone, not just necessarily you guys, but everyone here, that this is kind of a poison pill, and we can use this opportunity to even just speak out with our neighbors at IBIS and at Avenir and say how important of an issue it is to get through roads going to Beeline or just any other northwest like section. It's in some ways this might I know I in some ways I'm worried about losing my job over this because I'm an accountant. It's going to be quarter end, halfway through the year end. If it's in the second time frame, I'm just particularly miserable. But in the long run, perhaps some good will come from this, and we might be able to address the long-term issues by using this as like an opportunity to highlight the issues that are impacting the Western communities. I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have one more. Charlie, you'll be our last commenter.
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Okay.
I had an idea. They're talking about the congestion of all this traffic that between 6:30 and 9:30 or 9 o'clock. The retirees, why don't we suggest to them to move their medical appointments after, like, say, 10:30?
I did mention that earlier. Yeah, if people could move their appointments away from rush hour.
Because I wasn't on it at the beginning, so I didn't hear that. So
Yeah, that's okay.
thank you. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Dan P.
Dan. Hi, Dan. Dan. Can't hear Dan. Who's next?
Diane J. Budd.
Hi, Diane.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Yes, this is I'm over my girlfriend's house, but my name is Jimmy. I have a question. Earlier in this meeting, you stated they were putting an emergency lane through going over the tracks for emergency vehicles, correct?
It'll be to the north of North Lake.
Okay. Why on God's green earth can they not do that for traffic?
There's not enough room to do that, unfortunately. Believe me, we asked about that. It's only going to be one lane to get emergency vehicles through.
Okay, I look at the merging lane coming off of Beeline on the North Lake, all of that room that is in there. So they're tearing up the tracks, evidently going quite a bit north of the Beeline. Because there's that great big emergency lane there. There's 300 yards. Did I stump everybody?
There's unfortunately there's nothing that we can do.
They would not they're not going to do.
Yeah,
There-
we tried.
There's no signalization there. It's not really meant to be a regular crossing
Right.
for public
Oh, we all know it's not
access.
to we all
And-
know it's not to be a regular crossing. They're doing it for emergency vehicles, but they can't do a lane going each way for us residents.
Because there's 70,000 vehicles going that way. It would be impossible to move all of that plus westbound traffic and emergency vehicles. It would be impossible to put it on that little one lane.
Right? I'm not saying that one lane. They can expand that one lane and make it 3 or 4 lanes. That is my statement.
I don't believe they have the right of way to be able to do that.
Okay. All right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't know how many people lived out here. I think it was 2005 or 6 when they shut it down for a month. And yes, I know we didn't have Avenir and we didn't have Westlake, but we had to do this for a month. We've got this for 5 days. We're going to do this. We're going to be okay. The county's going to work with us. It's not a month. It's 5 days now. It might be even faster than that with the 24 hours of work that they're going to do. So it's, at least we have an emergency lane that they're going to get people that have an urgent situation east to get to those hospitals to the closest they can be at. So let's just be appreciative. We understand that there's a problem with the train tracks. We could wind up dealing with a train that spills God only knows what onto our area, and then we'd have an even bigger situation. So
Or lives lost.
yeah, or lives lost or anything. So understand, one, it's not anything that we sitting here as the board can do to change. I mean, we've pushed through, and I think they've changed a lot for us already. But just everybody, please be patient and understand that this is 5 days, hopefully, praying.
Hi, George.
Okay, hear me?
We can hear you.
Yes, coming out of Avenir, when this construction begins, could you make the left on Northway to go to the Publix and Ibis?
Yes.
Okay, so where is the closure? From Ibis going east?
The closure is at the B line where the railroad track is.
Right, so, but coming east out of Avenir, you make the left to Ibis. That's as far as you can go, it sounds like, at the shopping center.
Pretty much.
Okay, all right, we'll have the left turn will be allowed. Okay, that's what I want to know.
Yeah.
All righty, thank you.
I don't think they're going to block the plaza. Yeah.
You don't know.
And-
Okay, thank you.
Right. Yeah. Right. And there. Right.
Jay Rodriguez.
Hi, Jay.
Hi, my name is Jillian Rodriguez. I'm sorry, I'm using my work login. I work for the school district, and I just wanted to make sure that you all are aware that, and I know that the start of school has been considered in the timing of this, but to make sure that you all are aware that buses do practice runs at least the week before to work out their timing and their routes and everything. So I just wanted to make the board aware so that that could also be considered.
Okay. We're happy to reach out to the school board.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And the last one is Cindy LaCourse.
Hi, Cindy.
Hi, good evening. Cindy LaCourse Bloom, 72nd Court North. As you're aware, Palm Beach County is one of the largest employers in the county, if not the largest. I was just wondering if the district would be willing to request that their employees who live out here to work from home those days, and perhaps if the county makes it known that they're doing so, other employers will follow suit.
I know in the past the county has done that when there's been any kind of major closures downtown. They have had staff work from home. So what I would do is speak to your HR people and your direct supervisors and see if you can't make that happen, because it would make a lot of sense.
through the chair. For anyone else that has raised their hands after Ms. Akamundo had closed the speakers on Zoom, if you want, you can send us an email to info@Hanson at indiantrail.com. And
It's been a long day.
yeah. Yeah, send it directly to me. That's fine too. It's B Hanson at indiantrail.com. But we will try to answer any of your questions if they fall within our area. And if not, we'll make sure you get directed to either Palm Beach Gardens, West Palm Beach, or the county or others. Thank you.
And the one person we haven't heard from, Miss Kane.
Well, it's late and I don't want to keep everybody here, but I appreciate the opportunity to just thank everyone for their partnership. PBSO, Fire Rescue, Palm Beach County Engineers, you guys for having us here. I mean, we are often the stepchildren. You guys are right. The Western communities are often feel treated that way, but we're a big family of stepchildren. And as long as we all stay together and work together and try to find solutions, which we have been working on. I know it's invisible to some people, but we really have been working at it. And we have been getting some concessions. And I think if we just stand tough and stand strong, we are all going to get through this, with smiles on our faces and hopefully creating new friendships and new partnerships. So thank you.
Absolutely. And thank you. And it is important that we all work together. We may not be a city, but we are all neighbors. And we have to remember that. And we have to remember that while we're on the road as well. And I like the idea of smile. They say when you're on the phone, if you smile, you come off much more friendly. So if while you're driving, listen to some good music or a good podcast that you like and just smile and leave early. All right. All right. Let's take a vote. All in favor?
Aye. Oh,
Aye.
okay.
I know. It's so we're so high tech now. Okay. And looks like this motion has passed 4-0. And I want to thank everyone. I'm amazed at how many participants we had on Zoom. Like I said, I think it was a record. Great ideas, great suggestions, great information. Thank you to Palm Beach County Fire Rescue, to PBSO, to the county, to everyone who's working diligently to make our lives better. Thank you. And we have filed, hold on, let me get my exact wording here. Notice of meeting has been filed, posted on the district website, Facebook page. Jay, sit down. And on the door, the meeting was noticed. And with that, this meeting is adjourned. Good night, everybody. Run.